All right, welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode number 417. Today is the 9th of November, 2022, and we are going to roll into a bunch of great questions. I was just checking them out. We've got one about AI SEO content. We've got stuff about proxies. We've got silo structure. We got a ton of good stuff today. So I'll try to keep the announcements short and sweet, but we do want to say hello to the guys, and then we got a few things we want to share before we hop into these great questions. So Chris, how you doing today, man?
Doing excellent, and really happy that you're back on our calls here. We already missed you. Aside from that, weather is pretty good, and yeah, been running in a couple circles here, like on the things that we're doing on the back end, but all exciting things that are coming up, and customers should be excited too. Yeah. Things are moving.
Nice. Well, yeah, I was just, we were just on a call. I was talking to Chris about some of the local Fury stuff and checking out the new reporting, which I don't think anyone else has gotten to see yet, although it's live for current customers. But that's really, really cool. So excited about that, and showing some more details. Took some feedback from current customers and have worked that into some advanced reporting for people, especially useful for agencies. And people who need to be doing reporting and seeing what's going on. So some really, really cool stuff there. We'll be sharing more of that for sure in the future. And then there's going to be some good stuff coming up this year for Black Friday, but we'll share more about that via email. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, you can either head to semanticmastery.com or semanticmastery.com/HDHO, scroll down, hop in, join the email list. We send out stuff about Hump Day Hangouts, content, as well as special offers and deals that are going on. So definitely do that. Bradley, how you doing, man?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Cool. Anything
Short and
else?
sweet.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. Like I said, we're going to keep it short and sweet. So, well, then I'll keep it real short and sweet. Not a ton to announce today. We're going to have some cool stuff coming up, like I mentioned. So make sure if you are not on the email list, you definitely do that. But also wanted to mention the mastermind. If you're interested, or you've heard about, or you don't know what the heck the mastermind is, but it sounds interesting and you want to find out more, head over to mastermind.semanticmastery.com. Definitely the place if you're looking to take things up a notch. If you are wanting to grow your local SEO agency or consultancy, or if you have a local business, we do have a few local business owners. And although that's a small part of the mastermind, we understand some of those people want to find out kind of what makes things tick on the SEO side, and either do it themselves or more commonly have someone help them do it. But they want to understand what's going on there. So if you want to grow your SEO agency, specifically local SEO, come join us at the mastermind.
One thing I do want to say is, you're not allowed to travel like that anymore, Adam.
Well, it worked out really well. I got to say, we're going to have some good stuff coming out of this. So I'm sure you guys mentioned it on previous ones, but I was in Thailand for a conference in Bangkok for about a week. And then after that, since I traveled 12 time zones, I figured why not take some vacation and stay over there. But I'm really glad I got to meet up with Mateo from GMB Crush. So that was really awesome to meet him in person, talk about what he's doing, and then talking to him about Local Fury, about Semantic Mastery, what's going on there. We previously talked about the GMB Crush training, and just a lot of other stuff. A lot of other people doing SEO. Met a Hump Day Hangout attendee. So I apologize. I've got her name written down, but if you're watching this, hello from back in New York, but it was great to meet with you in person. And always good to get out there and kind of see what people are doing. But yeah, I can't leave these guys alone for too long, or
no.
They were.
No. Yeah, we need supervision.
Yeah.
So I make this joke often, but it's there's truth to it, which is Adam is the glue that holds Semantic Mastery together. So when you're gone, we're like a ship without a rudder. You know what I mean? We're just kind of going wherever the wind blows us. And so anyway, right on. Well, can we get into questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I have a few good ones. By the way, you're still waiting on some of the bonus winners from last week. So
yeah, get your info in.
If you were one of the bonus winners, prize winners last week for the 8-year anniversary episode, and you did not contact support at Semantic Mastery, please do so. All right. Wandering Humanoid is the first one up. Says, hey guys, having some success with an affiliate niche on my established brand website and want to go big the Semantic Mastery way and dominate the niche. Thinking I'm picking up some good domains with backlinks in the category and set up a group of masher sites with Damon Nelson's tool. How would you go about having them support the main site without leaving footprints with the same affiliate links, etc.? Chris may be able to answer that better than me because I don't do affiliate stuff. I haven't done any kind of affiliate marketing other than occasionally we promote a product through our email list to you guys, but that's only if we use it or if I use it. But I don't really do affiliate SEO, so I'm not a good person to answer that as far as like how to hide affiliate links and stuff. I can say Damon's masher sites are fantastic for driving traffic, referral traffic, because those sites are beautiful. They end up, once they index and they start to, receive traffic, those are really good. You can use them as link network, like, a link source as well as a traffic referral source. So I know Damon's products are great. We're going to be doing something with Damon here in a couple of weeks. At the end of this month. By the way, Adam, while you were gone, I scheduled a webinar with Damon for us to do, but he's got a lot of really good things happening with booster pages, which we have a link for that in SM short link, guys, if you want to drop that. But we're going to be he's made a lot of really good improvements with booster pages, which integrate seamlessly with masher sites. And I really like what him and Wayne have been doing over there. So we're definitely going to be doing a promotion for booster pages in a couple of weeks with Damon. A really good one too. He gave us a really sweet offer that we can promote. So I would encourage you to check that out. But Chris, can you comment on
me to drop
stuff?
the money? You want me to drop the money knowledge? So the thing with like affiliate links and stuff, you always want to put the barrier in there, and the barrier is something that you control. So this can be like an email opt-in. So you send the affiliate link out via email list.
Good
or point. A membership area. So like you have, for example, your landing page, then you have like a gateway in whatever form or shape or form, like can be paid, can be like free. We have content or whatever, and you have like affiliate links in there. Or you have some other kind of like bridge page or like in between page. So you have like a SEO page. You have like a bridge page where you link to, and then you have the affiliate page. And all you gotta do, make sure is like that the affiliate link page or like the single affiliate link is then not indexed and stuff. So basically you're directing everything to your own properties, and you can actually then swap out the affiliate links in this variable. There are also other ways where you can do like redirects, like 3-1 redirects, etc. I don't recommend that too much. It works, but like as we all know, like the crawlers and spiders are pretty much going through them, even if you use JavaScript and stuff. I mean, like you could cloak it, but like let's not get into it and make it complicated. Let's keep it simple. And as I said, I would use pretty much like a gateway between your SEO site and whatever affiliate link you're using.
Yeah, that's a good point. Give them a reason to opt in or join if you've got like a membership area or something. That way you capture the email, and then you can promote affiliate offers through the email as well as drive traffic, right? You can put links to your money site and drive traffic through email promotions and that kind of stuff. So that's a good point. Thank you, Chris. Next one. Hey, Bradley, as you were the expert for AI SEO content writing, I don't know if I'd say that. I just have used a lot of tools. That's all. What do you think of Neuronwriter? It's on AppSumo right now. I don't have an opinion. I'm sorry. The amount of AI writing assistant tools that are coming onto the market, there's just no way possible that I could keep up with all of them and test all of them, nor do I have the desire to do that. I've got the tools that I use, I like a lot. We use outranking a lot. That's one of my favorite. I think the best tool right now, period, is On-Page AI, which is a very expensive tool, but it's a very good tool. Well, outranking is expensive as well. We use Jasper a lot still because Jasper can output content incredibly fast as long as you have a well-developed outline, and that's what we use outranking for. Or I can use On-Page to develop an outline as well. And I also like to use WriterZen, as I mentioned many times before. WriterZen has a phenomenal keyword tool. Really, that's my favorite keyword tool right now is WriterZen, because it's got the all in title function. So it's what they call the golden filter, but it basically does all in title. So you can get the true measure of SEO competition for keywords. We look at search volume and all that kind of stuff in, some of the keyword tools, but none of those show the SEO competition. Like the keyword Google Ads Keyword Planner shows competitive, competition levels, but that's for bidding. Those are for advertisers. Those are people competing for those keywords, like bidding on those keywords. That's what it means by competition, not SEO competition. A true measure of SEO competition is all in title. And that's part of the reason why I like Writer's End. So I don't have an opinion on Neuronwriter specifically. Like I said, just because there's so many of those tools out there, they all do stuff very similarly. They just have different interfaces. And so I don't have an opinion on that. The ones that I recommend are the ones I just mentioned. Outranking, on page, those are my favorites, period, hands down. And as I said before, if you have a tool that develops, or if you manually develop your own kind of outlines, then Jasper is hard to beat as far as just a pure AI writing assistant. It's not really an SEO tool. It's an AI writing assistant. Like if you want something that is integrated with SEO too, then like Outranking is probably the best because it has AI writing assistant built into it. And it keeps all of the output, like the inputs are from the top 20 search results for whatever search query you put in. So if you guys are familiar with like any sort of the page tuning tools or content tuning tools, which means like Surfer SEO or Page Optimizer Pro, et cetera, Outranking, On Page, they all do something similar in that you put a keyword in and it goes and they scrape the top 20 search results for that particular keyword. And that's what it determines. It gives you averages of number of words, heading tags, entities, if it's integrated with Google's NLP, like On Pages and Outranking. It'll tell you the average number of entities, et cetera. But, all of those have, they all do something similar in that respect. But why I like using Outranking is because it, for the AI writing assistant part of it, I mean, is something like Jasper. If you put in, give it a command to write, it's just going to, it pulls from its own database of knowledge, right? And it's going to spit stuff out, but you have to constantly direct it and you have to go fact check some of the output, especially if you're talking about something a bit more technical, not general in nature, more specific. If it's, you have to go check the output to make sure that it is indeed accurate, right? It's factual. But something like Outranking, what's really cool about that is when you put the keyword in, it goes and it does the same thing. It scrapes all the 20 results and gives you average numbers of all this stuff. But the GPT-3 integration, so in other words, the AI writing assistant, it only outputs based on the inputs from the top 20 ranked search results for that specific search query. So the data, so what the AI writing assistant outputs, right? The output from the writing assistant should be a lot more accurate because it's only using inputs from the top 20 ranked results for that particular search query. And those we can assume are accurate. And you know what they say about assumptions, right? So I'm just using that as an example. So something like Outranking is, I feel much better if you want kind of an all-in-one tool. Does that make sense? So, Neuronwriter may be good. I don't know. But it's probably, like most of the others, it just has a different interface. So it's probably good. They're all fairly good now. I prefer sticking with stuff that is, I know Outranking is expensive. It's got a high monthly subscription fee. But that's part of the reason why it's so good is because it's got the money behind it and they continually develop it. The AppSumo deals, most of the time they're going to improve, but sometimes they go belly up and they just pull the plug and you're shit out of luck. I've had that happen a few times and that really sucks, especially when you integrate it into standard operating procedures for your business operations. And then all of a sudden they stop supporting it or it goes, they close it down. And I've had that happen. That sucks because that's a lot of wasted energy and time building processes and everything else. And that's why I feel like if those are kind of a gamble. You're hoping to make an investment in a tool that's going to be continued to be developed. That's the idea. So like, for example, with Outranking, I bought it on a lifetime deal. They don't have that anymore. And I understand almost $200 a month to use a tool like that can be prohibitive for people. But at the same time, that kind of a tool is going to have longevity, right? And it's going to make your job easier and more efficient. You can pump out content that's more accurate, that needs less editing, a lot quicker, more efficiently. So you can make up for the cost by selling more content. Does that make sense? So in my opinion, you're better off going with a more developed tool that has funding, that's more stable, You know, don't get me wrong. I love AppSumo deals. Again, I consider that playtime. And sometimes we find one that just like, it's like a home run. You know, you get a tool that just is fantastic. But I don't like to build my entire business around an app that may not be around. And I have done it, but I've also been burned by that. So just be careful. How would you approach total SEO domination of the SERPs for local and affiliate niche SEO? You know, the same barnacle sites, or what they call, you know, doing web 2 parasites. That's what I was thinking of, parasites. So identifying keywords that are going to rank. I just talked about this. By the way, Adam, I sent you a message about that. Live Rank Sniper, Peter Drew's tool. Fabulous. I did about a 20-minute video last week about it. It's a great tool. It's called Live Rank Sniper, smshort.link/live-rank-sniper. It's fantastic. It does keyword poking. So first identify keywords that you can rank fairly easily. And once you find those keywords, then YouTube videos still work great for this, even for local. They don't typically last on first page for very long, but they typically will rank very quickly. And it's a good way to identify keywords that you can rank for with high authority properties very quickly, with just on page, no off page SEO needed. You could also include off page, meaning build links to it. But what I'm saying is what's great about Live Rank Sniper is it does scheduled live events. So you don't even need a video. It goes and schedules, creates scheduled live events in YouTube, which index instantly, and you can put thumbnail images in there. Go watch the video. It's on our YouTube channel. Just go look live, you know, finding how to find local keywords on our YouTube channel. And you'll see, I just published it last week. Anyways, great video. As far as the strategy is fantastic. But once you find those keywords that you can rank based off the YouTube authority, like, so that like the schedule live events will rank, and it's a thumbnail image. It's called keyword poking, but you poke the keywords and determine which ones rank with basically just on-page factors. And then you can go out and start building out other assets that have high authority that will rank quickly. Some of the best ones are Weebly is ranking really well right now. So Weebly sites you can create that will rank. You can still do it with Blogger. I don't recommend doing that with like you can spam Blogger too, but you don't want to spam a Blogger that's linking to your money site. I'm talking about creating standalone assets to rank. So like Blogger works. Weebly is ranking really well right now. Patch.com classified announcement posts. Those work really, really well. You can rank those you can rank those almost every time with just pure spam, like blog comment spam backlinks to the Patch classified announcement posts. If you have access to press releases, then you could rank press releases. G sites typically don't rank immediately, but you can build a G site out and then hit it with some backlinks and it would generally rank. It takes a few weeks, but it would generally rank as well. So these are all like things that you can do to get really good results. For the first thing is try to find keywords that aren't super competitive. If you want total domination, where you're going to take multiple spots on the page, you need to find keywords that aren't super competitive to begin with, and then you just build high authority assets. That's really what I'm getting at. YouTube's good for that. Like I said, is patch.com, press releases, Blogger, Weebly is ranking really, really well right now. I'm seeing that across the board because I have a lot of branded Weebly's created as part of building out entity assets for local projects. And I'm seeing Weebly's ranking a lot recently. So those are, and plus you can do some pretty ninja things with some of those Web 2.0s like Blogger and Weebly, some meta refreshes in the HTML headers. There's a number of things you can do with those that some pretty ninja SEO stuff that you can do with those. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't do it, like I said, I don't do affiliate stuff. So, but it's the same process. Okay. Next one. Hey, Bradley, good day, sir. Any suggestions on a good place to pick up proxies from? Thanks. I don't really use a lot of proxies. More recently, we are for a very specific reason. And I picked up some proxies from Smart Proxy. I think that's what it's called. Maybe Smart Proxies. And they're good, but I had to go through like a significant verification proxy. This is it. a significant verification process to get them to enable the proxies to work with Google and Microsoft. We're using it for our white label SEO team. So that are in the, various places, but most of them are in the Philippines. So we needed proxies for our remote team to be able to access a Microsoft OneDrive account or Microsoft Office 365, whatever the hell they call it, SharePoint, right? So it's like OneDrive for business, if that makes sense. That and Google Business, our Google Workspace account, things like that. We needed our VAs, our remote team, to be able to log into those accounts without triggering verifications all the time. So I went with Smart Proxy, and we're using Go Login at Chris's recommendation, my partner Chris's recommendation. We're using Go Login as our like multi browser keeper or whatever. And I picked up Smart Proxies, but I had to go through a pretty rigorous verification and process just to get them to allow us to be able to access Google and Microsoft or OneDrive sites through these proxies, which was, I guess they do that so that they keep hackers and spammers away. I don't know, whatever. But I don't use a lot of proxies. I use a mobile proxy that I pay for CTR stuff. It's a private setup. I didn't set it up. I purchased it through somebody else, and I pay a lot of money for that. That's really expensive. I don't recommend that unless you're doing a ton of CTR stuff. It's a mobile 4G proxy. It's super expensive though. But this is fairly good pricing. But again, I don't do a lot of proxy stuff, so I don't even know if this is a good solution or not. It's working for what we need, which is good enough for me. I don't do a lot of stuff that requires proxies though, so that's the only suggestion I have. I mean, there's some older ones that we used to use, like Blazing proxies, and I think they changed names now, and so I just don't know if they're any good anymore or not. In the process training on silo structure, you explain simple, complex, and tag silos, the later being recommendation for local services. Magic Page plugin doesn't use tags. Not sure if it uses categories or posts in the structure, but what is the silo structure? But what is the silo structure created by Magic Page plugin? Is it a simple silo, and can I easily mirror its silo structure elsewhere? Thanks. Yeah, tag silos. Some of that training is a bit outdated. In that I don't really use the whole tag silo method anymore. I did some pretty ninja stuff with it for a while, but I've learned to simplify my site builds. So what I found just through maturity and just experience in this, doing local SEO for so long, is that a lot of local sites don't need to be siloed. It depends on the kind of site. There's always variables, right? It's SEO, so it always depends. But what I found is a lot of local type sites, unless they're service area businesses that serve a very large service area where you have to separate things by geography, where it might need a complex silo structure, specifically just to separate, to create a hierarchy for locations. But most local business sites that serve that's a storefront business or a normal size service area business, they don't need silos. They really don't. It's really unnecessary and it overcomplicates the builds. And I've learned that specifically in the tree service industry. I used to always separate, like the homepage would be optimized for tree service. Then I would have a tree trimming silo. So a page for that, which that would be the top of silo, and a tree removal page, top of silo. Then I would have location silos if it was a multi-location business. And then I might have another silo for arborist, like tree care, which is, very specific for certified arborist services, et cetera. And what I found over the years is Google thinks all of tree service, tree trimming, tree removal, tree pruning, tree cutting, all of those are synonyms. Tree care. Google thinks all of those are the same. They're variants of the same keyword. So it was just, for years, I always siloed my tree service sites. And I just learned in the last year and a half or 2 years now that it was completely unnecessary. I overcomplicated builds, and I didn't need to. I think we all do this, or many of us do this in the SEO industry, right? We think we're going to, and it's funny because, occasionally we'll get somebody that comes into the mastermind and they spent literally 4, 5, 6, 8 hours developing a diagram of some elaborate silo structured site for, a dry cleaner website. You know what I mean? I'm using that kind of a joke, but I'm saying like something that's just a normal local business, and they put hours and hours and hours into developing this super complex site structure because we think we're going to outsmart Google with some elaborate site structure. And all it does is just overcomplicate our ability to scale, right? Because now we got this big site that's a monstrosity. It's hard to build. It's hard to add stuff to because it's got to be added. And the internal linking structure is super complicated and everything else. And it's unnecessary. The whole tag silo thing worked because I had sites that were overbuilt with too many silos and, all that kind of stuff. And I've learned to simplify my site builds now. In fact, I don't even build silo structure unless I need to, which I will determine after I build the site structure as all kind of a flat site, meaning, especially more recently, the last 6 months, I've been building sites that have that every page on the site links to every other page on the site. So there is zero silo structure at all. Like, in other words, so every service page links to every location page links to every service page. And even every location page links to every other location page too. So and I found that I'm able to get results quicker that way. And it's much easier because when you have a site like that, when you build a link to any page on the site, it influences the entire site as opposed to a specific silo. Again, there might be times where it's necessary to build a silo, but even then I recommend a simple silo. So for example, an HVAC contractor, a lot of times HVAC companies will do HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. And those could be 3 separate silos if needed. And maybe you don't need a silo at all. It could just be 3 separate services pages, right? But you could potentially have a silo structure on there because you could have a top level page for plumbing, one for HVAC, and one for electrical. And then you could have, supporting posts for each of the services within each of those silos, if that makes sense. So there are times where like a simple silo structure is warranted. It makes sense. But what I found is that I've seen silos being built for a lot of local sites that don't need them, because we think that that's going to give us a ranking benefit. And all it does is it makes our jobs more difficult because it adds a layer of complexity for internal linking, for the way that you structure content, all of that. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense, guys. I'm just trying to tell you guys, keep it simple. It makes your job easier. It makes it easier to scale. You get better results. I found with when building links to a site that isn't overly optimized with silos, like these complex silo structures or these elaborate silo structures, I should say, I find that the sites respond to links better, right? Because again, when you have internal linking where like everything is kind of linked to each other, then when you link to anywhere on the site, it improves the overall site in its entirety, not just that one specific page. So I don't know if that was a clear answer or not. I'm just trying to tell you guys, like, you don't need to build these super advanced silo structures. Now, talking about a mass page build, I don't do a lot of mass page stuff. I really did intend on doing some stuff with Magic Page, and I just never found the bandwidth to do it. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience with how to build silo structure into I know you can. That was part of the reason I was attracted to using it, but I never ended up really using it much. So is it easy? Can I easily mirror a silo, some structure elsewhere? Again, that's part of the reason, keep it simple, right? Because if you do some sort of a complex silo, which guys, for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, a simple silo structure is top level pages and categories and then supporting posts, period. So it's 2 levels deep. That's it. There's top level pages and categories, then there's supporting posts. That's it. A complex silo structure is top level pages and categories, then child pages and subcategories, and then supporting posts. So it's 3 layers deep. So it's called a complex silo structure for a reason. It adds a lot of complexity. So even with the Magic Page mass page builds, I recommend, a simple silo structure, and then you can mirror that a lot easier. Complex silos become difficult to mirror, hence the name complex. So anyway, but by the way, that's a really good question. Talk to the guys at Magic Page about that, right? They've been doing that for years. So Keith Best and Mike Martin and all them, and just go into their Magic Page group and just ask. I guarantee you there's some experts in the group that do a lot of mass page builds or Magic Page builds that can point you give you better instruction or better guidance than I just did as far as how to utilize it for Magic Page sites. Okay. How do you handle keyword tracking and client reporting? I use Bright Local. I keep trying to get on with Patrick from LeadSnap to discuss his reporting options, but I've been using Bright Local since like 2014, and that's what I use for everything. Because it integrates with Google Analytics, it integrates with GMB or Google Business Insights. The only thing it doesn't integrate with is Search Console. So I still report that externally to my clients, but for everything else, it's a Bright Local report. That's it. I just send Bright Local reports and that's it, because it integrates, like I said, it does reputation monitoring. It's got local search grids. So GeoGrids or local search grids, organic rank tracking, citation tracking, GBP insights. So Google Business Profile Insights, GBP audit, local search audits. It does all of this reporting in one dashboard, one report. You get one external report URL that you can send to your client, which is what I do every single month for my clients. And it has everything in there. You get a summary, like the external report URL has a summary page, and the summary page has all the different modules that you've integrated from their reporting tools. So they can go in and they can just click on any one of those modules and boom, it opens up the report. So everything except for the Search Console, even analytics is, like I said, it even has a module for analytics. And so it imports the analytics data right into these reports. So the only thing that I report for externally is Google Ads, if I'm running ads for clients, and Search Console data, which I have a VA just take screenshots for that. So Scott, what's up, Scott? He says, I'm working with a WordPress site for a client. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I think I might have missed something. How do you handle keyword tracking and client reporting? Was thinking of getting SE ranking. I had SE ranking. I've actually subscribed to that twice in the last year and canceled it both times. It's a good tool. It's a decent tool. But I just, I do everything in local. So Bright Local does everything I need. So that's what I stick with. But like Datastudio, as you can pull in more data for a holistic view. Yeah, there's training on, you can go to YouTube and find some really Datastudio, man. You can, if you want to take the time, go to YouTube and search Datastudio, and you can get some really good tutorials there on how to set up your own kind of reporting dashboard via Datastudio. And it's a bit technical setting it up, but that's why there's YouTube videos that can help you walk through it. And you can create some really, really good reports through Datastudio. But it's just a matter of taking the time to learn how to do it and set it up. And it's a bit techy. So, but there's some really good YouTube videos on that. So I'd check that out as well. Would like to see Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and GMB stats, but also monitor some strategic keywords. Any tips or suggestions? Yeah, I just mentioned what I said. So Scott says, I'm working with a WordPress site for a client in a technical niche that has no local 3-pack. I'm using state and city pages. And the pages are indexing and getting ranked rapidly. Ranking takes 1 to 3 days using IndexMeNow, and ranking in about 3 to 7 days after indexing. Okay. So I think you mean indexing takes 1 to 3 days and then ranking in about 3 to 7 days. I'm adding technical and location information for each city page. Should these pages really be posts so they can be listed in the site feed and picked up by our syndication network? Also, should I be using subdomains for each state? Thanks. That's a good question. It's entirely up to you whether you do it as page or posts. The whole syndication thing isn't as important as it used to be. So, you can do that. I would probably just keep them as pages, but yeah, it's up to you. I mean, you could do it as posts. There are some things that you can do with that as well, but I probably would just leave them as pages. Should I be using subdomains for each site? It's entirely up to you. It depends on what you want to do. I talked about this, Scott, in the last mastermind webinar, actually. One of our members, Jarvis, was asking about, should we be separating locations by subdomain? And I've come full circle. Like I said, I just talked about this in the mastermind webinar, Scott. So you should be able to see it in the replay from the last webinar. Anyway, I went from doing subdomains to separate locations for multi-location stuff, to doing everything on the root domain and creating location silos, to now I'm back to doing subdomains again. And I like it because you can isolate a particular subdomain to where all of the geo-relevance on that site is entirely about that specific location. Does that make sense? I mean, you can do that with silos too. You can absolutely do that with silos. But I also, even though I'm not doing a lot of spammy stuff, I also like the security, right? The safety that subdomains provide. Because especially if you're going after something national, Scott, yes, it makes it more difficult. If you're going after 50 states, you're going to have 50 sites if you do it all on subdomains. I get it. That is a whole nother set of challenges too, managing that many sites. But the thing is, if you catch a penalty on the root domain, the domain, all of its inner pages and all of its subdomains all get hit. They all contract that penalty. But subdomains are isolated. In other words, like, so if you catch a penalty on a subdomain for doing something that Google doesn't like, it's isolated to that subdomain. Its sibling subdomains, if there's any other subdomains, right? I call those siblings, or its parent root domain are safe from that penalty. So again, separating sites by subdomain specific to each location, in your case, statewide. I do that by city is the way I typically do it, because I don't usually do multi-state projects, if that makes sense. So for tree service stuff all the time, clients do, tree service contractors have usually fairly large service areas, sometimes, 3, 4, 5 counties, no shit. And so we could do a county subdomains, for example. That's one way to do it, so that all the georelevance built on a county subdomain are specific to that county. Or you could do cities, so the metropolitan areas within those counties that they do service, within their service area. And then so city subdomains, which is typically how I do it. And then that way, all of the data on that specific site is georelevant specific to that city, if that makes sense. So, I prefer to do it that way, just because it's, again, if you catch a penalty on a subdomain, it's isolated to that. Its sibling subdomains and its parent root domain are safe. If you catch a penalty on the root domain, it's burned. Everything's going to tank. So it's just kind of a safety thing. Like I said, specifically with the site structure that I built, that I just talked about a moment ago, where all the location pages link to all the service pages, all the service pages link to all the location pages. It's a completely flat site. Every page is linking to every other page. I like to do those on subdomains, Scott, as I mentioned in the mastermind, specifically because I target a particular location, and then all the georelevance is about that one location, be it a city, a county, etc. However it is that I structure that. So it's up to you. You can do it both ways. Just be aware that if you're going to do it, it's certainly easier to manage if it's all done on one site and you build location silos instead. But then you also run the risk, if something does happen to the site, you lose everything. So, don't put all your eggs in one basket, that kind of thing. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. No, Friendly Legend, we don't discount mastermind. The discount is the quarterly offer. We have monthly, which is $300 a month, or there's quarterly, which is $600 every 3 months. That is the discount, 33% discount. We don't discount it beyond that. There's too much value there, guys. Just ask anybody in our mastermind. Okay. Wow. We ran out of questions today. Last one. Wandering Humanoid says, I'm interested in a domain that's in auction. The site is in Spanish. Was a Peruvian company. Can I use the power of the site to rank in Mexico? Yeah. Yeah. I don't see why not. Yeah. I don't see why not. Topical relevance is there. You certainly can. Adam, were you going to say something?
No, just was checking that out. I think interesting question, but yeah, that makes sense to me. Oh, looks like he popped another one in there.
Yeah, I see. He says, what's best to use for multilingual websites, subdomain or directory? Oh, so you mean like a subdirectory? That's a good question, because I don't do that kind of work. Everything I've ever done is in English, so I've not had to deal with that. What do you think, Adam? You got to.
I don't. Yeah, same thing. My best guess, Bradley, you can tell me if you think this is a good idea or not, is maybe go check out some more authority sites that have multilingual and just kind of see what they're doing. Like sites that are ranking well, I guess, would be a better way of saying that.
Yeah.
So what I've done is pretty much use the .com usually and just roll it out that way.
Yeah, but what he's saying is, would you do the multilingual sites as separate sites as a subdirectory, so like in a folder basically, or on subdomain sites?
Oh, actually I'm confused. He's saying can't use dot. Does that mean he can't use the subdomain?
I think he just meant he couldn't put dots in here for some. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that means. But
yeah, you probably can't use the link as guest.
Don't they have those? What do they have? Let's see. They have WordPress plugins. I can't remember what they're, because I don't do anything outside of the English language, so I don't know.
Multi-language or something like that.
Multi-language. Let's just see what happens.
It was something with multi. I've used that one as well, and that uses WPML. That the first one it is already. Yeah, it just uses slash usually.
Yeah. So
like domain.com /es/ whatever page, and they have like again domain.com /en/ whatever page.
yeah.
Works.
What the fuck? Why would Jesus Christ? Fuck you, Yelp. Who likes Yelp anyways? I certainly don't. I'm just using this as an example. Yelp looks different. Last time I was on Yelp, it did not look like this.
And I've not used it in so long.
It's shitty. Yelp sucks. They're extortionists. They're terrible. Fuck Yelp.
Oh,
By the way, I don't even get listed on Yelp anymore for sites because they spam. They're relentless in trying to sell you marketing, advertising services, excuse me, and they're just absolutely relentless. So I tell clients, don't get on Yelp. Like if you're not already on there, we're not going to get on there. Like I recommend it because otherwise, unless you want to get your phone, you want your phone to ring 4 or 5 times per week with solicitation calls for advertising services. Anyway, the reason why I brought this up is if we go take a look at something. This is an example because we used to spam the shit out of Yelp listings and get them to rank. Let's see if they still, you know what? I'm not seeing it. Maybe they don't do that anymore, but they used to have the href language tags, and they would have all the different subdomains in all the different languages. They were all canonicalized to the English version of it. Looks like they completely changed their sites. I'm not even seeing it now. But anyway, they would have the href language, like it's basically they're like canonicals, but they're each one of the different, and those were all subdomains. That's what I was trying to get at by showing you this. They were all subdomains. So like Spanish would be es dot, right? And they would have all the different subdomains, and it would be this long list of subdomains for each one of the Yelp pages, just in different languages. And you could extract all of those to rank a Yelp listing. You could extract all of those and you just hammer all of those backlinks, or excuse me, those href language URLs with just bulk spam, like GSA spam, blog comment spam, etc. And it would, because everything was canonicalized to the English version, all that kind of link equity would flow back to the English version, which would end up ranking it. And that's how you could get a individual Yelp listing to pop out of an index listing. What do I mean by that? Well, if you go to like Tree Service Culpeper or something, right? Tree Service plus city, just as an example, generally you're going to see a Yelp index listing, like an index page, which is the top tree service companies in whatever city. And so essentially you're going from one search result to another, right? You go to Google, you type in tree service plus city, and the top ranked listing is a Yelp search result. In other words, you click through to Yelp and it's nothing but another list of search results in Yelp. It just happens to be the top tree service companies in that particular city. I always thought that was stupid. Why would Google rank a set of search results in the search results, right? You go from one search engine, a set of search results, to another set of search results. I always thought that was dumb. So one of the ways that you could pop an individual Yelp listing to outrank the index listing would be to push enough domain authority into it. At least that's how you used to do it. I haven't tried this in probably 2 years, so I don't know if it's still the same. It may be. But that was one of the ways we would do it, is we'd find them href language URLs, which I'm just not seeing it. Maybe if I just did a control F and looked for it. There's 242 of those, maybe language, LANG, probably find those. Anyways, all I'm saying is we would extract those and then just hammer those with backlinks, just pure bulk spam. And that would, you push enough domain authority into the one Yelp listing that it would outrank it, or pop out of that kind of index listing and outrank it. Sometimes you would see a nested listing where you would see the index listing and then the specific individual listing kind of like nested under it and indented slightly, if that makes sense. But it was a way just to kind of make it stand out, is what I'm saying.
Didn't we do that for our own domains as well at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't spam it, but
way back in the day.
yeah, back in the day we did. I wouldn't do that now, but yeah, I don't see that shit at all anymore. So they must have really changed stuff. I mean, this code even looks different. So,
hey Bradley,
Go ahead.
I headed over to YouTube and I popped in the usual thing I do about telling people to head over to semanticmastery.com/HDHO.
Is there questions?
Yeah, we had a couple that, so just two. One, I want to answer partially. So Pearl Skin and Body was asking, you mentioned OpenAI or something like that as one of your favorite tools on a recent video. What was that again? So for my, that's GPT-3. That is OpenAI is the company or the business that's developed that. So you can get access to that and play around with it. And if you want to develop a tool that uses that, but a lot of these tools are using OpenAI's GPT-3. So like Jasper uses that, and then they've added stuff on top of that. So a lot of these tools we talk about, ZenRank, was it ZenRanking? Is that the name of it?
WriterZen.
WriterZen.
Yeah.
Yep. WriterZen and a bunch of these other tools are all based on it and then add their own kind of secret sauce on top of it. So that's the stuff you can check out. And then the other thing here, Bradley, somebody was asking.
Well, just to clarify, though, I think what he was asking was about on page, because this is what I've been saying the last few weeks is like, this is probably my favorite SEO tool right now, because it has the AI writing assistant. It does the on page optimization or tuning, content tuning, as I call it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's got the off page, the link relevancy tool, and what they call predictive guest posts or predictive link building. And it also more recently has integrated the AI writing assistant in. This is probably this is my favorite tool right now. It's not cheap. It's very expensive. So, that's why I know it's prohibitive for a lot of people because they don't want to spend this kind of money. I've been subscribing since January when he launched this tool. I think it's a great tool. Very expensive, but on-page.ai. Anyway, sorry, Adam, go back to what
No, that's fine. Adam Hawthorne was asking, so you were talking about Weebly. And so he said, using automated software, any tips to setting up and ranking Weebly? So I would assume he's saying kind of like, is there something you can use to automate setting it up or something like that? That's how I interpret it.
Yeah, I don't, whenever I do anything with Weebly, I either build them manually, which I haven't done in quite some time, or I've been just buying been getting Weebly sites from my provider on Legit that I get the mini networks, the mini branded networks from. Give me a minute and I'll show you the link, or I'll send you the link. His name is Rubel Raz on Legit. Anyways, I just buy these. Stand by, guys. I'm unpause the video in just a minute. Okay, so this guy here is stand by. SEO Raz is his name on Legit. Here is a link for that. But he does. I'll show you an example. Just give me a minute. Let me paste this in. This is SEO Raz on LEGIIT for branded Web 2 mini networks. Anyways, I'll show you an example of this, but he that's where I get them done now, because he builds them and they're kind of basic. They're optimized. He does a beautiful job at optimizing these profiles. This is my go-to guy for branded networks because he delivers them quickly. They're fairly inexpensive. You get 15 properties for $30 or 10 properties for $20, whatever. But Weebly is one of them that will be included. And it's what I found is Weebly, so he'll send them to you with whatever details you submit when you order. And it's basically just a branded Weebly that he'll set up with YouTube embed, NAP, name, address, phone number, a brief snippet of content that he'll plug into that. But he sets all of these up and it interlinks everything, which is what we teach anyway. So it's beautiful and it's very inexpensive, and he does it quickly. And he's a great guy. He really is a real nice guy. I've chatted with him quite a bit. So I always recommend this guy here for that. And then you get the Weebly as part of that. At least I know you're doing the 10 or the 15. I don't know about basic, but you could always ask him if you place an order like, hey, I want Weebly, even if you just got the 5 and just which is what, $10, and just ask him like, hey, make sure that you include Weebly in those 5. All I'm saying is that ends up being really powerful, and you get the login details for all this. So in the past, I used to set these up manually myself. I haven't done a Weebly site manually in probably 4 or 5 years. No kidding. Because I just get them from him now, but you can go in and further optimize it. You can add additional content. As I mentioned, with Weebly, you can get into the HTML header. And you can inject a meta refresh code, get your gears spinning about different things you can do with that. Years ago, it's funny, but I learned from Jimmy Kelly way back when I was in Network Empire and OMG, like many years ago, like 2013, 2014 timeframe, is when I first learned about using Weebly for as a parasite SEO. We were just talking about that earlier with, rank. How do you rank multiple assets? Well, find keywords that aren't super competitive, and then you can do things like Weebly's, and they will rank fairly quickly, oftentimes without any, with few backlinks. So what I'm saying is, and because they're high authority properties, you can spam them and they will rank. I don't recommend spamming branded assets, guys. I can't stress that enough. Treat your branded assets as if they're money sites. Don't spam your branded assets. But if you're doing a standalone site for pure ranking purposes, then you can spam the shit out of it. Like just hit it with kitchen sink spam links, bulk spam links, and they will rank. Weebly's will rank. But what's interesting is years ago, I learned about this. Like I'm swear to God, it was 2013, maybe 14 when I first learned about this, but you could create a Weebly site, optimize it for whatever keyword you want to rank for. And the first time I tried this, I had just landed a plumbing client, and the plumber wanted me to build him a website. So I was building them a website in WordPress, but I built, when I was at the OMG live event in Nashville. I think it was 2013. Anyways, that's when I first learned this. And I went up to my hotel room at the end of the event for the day where I learned this. And I created a plumbing Weebly site specific for that client that I just landed. And so I built this plumbing website, and then I just bought some blog comment spam. I think I bought it from backlinks.com. I don't even know if that's still a thing, but it's pure spam. Anyways, I hit it with some spam, and like 3 days later or 5 days later, whatever it was once I got back from the event, the OMG live event, this son of a bitch was ranked #1 for plumber, and the city at the time was Manassas, Virginia. So plumber Manassas, VA, or Manassas plumber, or whatever the keyword combo was. It ranked for that #1. Boom. And then I had learned about the meta refresh trick, which is to put a meta refresh, which is a redirect script essentially, in the HTML header. And so you rank the Weebly site, and then you go in and you put a meta refresh in the HTML header that links to the money site. And what happens is, in about 2 or 3 days, the money site will be ranked where the Weebly site was. It was freaking amazing. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the holy grail of SEO. And for like 2 years, man, every time I would get a new client, I would build, the first thing I would do while I was working on building their site would be to rank a Weebly site. And then I would do the meta refresh, and then boom, sure enough, like it was, the clients thought I was doing some dark, black magic, you know what I mean? Because it was like, they would hire me to do SEO, and within 2 weeks, I'd have them ranked #1 organic, like because the Weebly sites would rank, and then I would do the meta refresh, and their money site would end up being where the Weebly site was. It was like you jacked a space in the serps, and then you would substitute it using a meta refresh with your money site. Like it was incredible. You can still do that with Weebly. As far as I haven't tried to rank just a Weebly anytime recently. I do it as more of a branded asset process. But you can still do meta refreshes in Weebly, is what I'm saying.
Well, then this might be good. So Adam's got there's 2 questions. So I want to get to this one. Adam had a follow-up. He said, I use SEO AP, which I assume is SEO autopilot.
Yeah.
So wonder, do you mass build posts, link back to main page, use tags, meta refresh, that kind of tips? Thank you. So I kind of more of what you were just going down that page, going down that path.
Yeah, so I mean, the Weebly site, they were just basic sites. You'd put well-tuned content on there, keyword headings and all that, just like you optimize any other sort of on-page optimization, right? You well-tuned content, well-optimized content. Put a YouTube video on there if you can. Google loves YouTube code. So anyways, the Weebly site was fairly basic, like one page. I would also put a contact page on there, and that kind of stuff. But I would make the Weebly site very basic. And then I would just hit the Weebly site. If you got SEO autopilot, I don't use any kind of like automation tools for link building at all. I never did. I never liked it. I don't do it, but I'm pretty sure that builds links too. So you could set up some link building campaigns to build links to the Weebly site. That's what I'm saying. I don't run those kind of tools, but as I mentioned, I've talked about this before. We go to Fiverr. This is one gig that I know works for sure because it works great for classified patch.com classified announcement posts. It's the same gig that I always use. Right here, this guy right here. His screen name on Fiverr is up to top. Right there's his screen name, up to top on Fiverr. But if this is the gig, I've talked about this recently on Hump Day Hangouts. Just go to Fiverr, guys, and go search for up to top, or just go to fiverr.com up to top, and you'll see his gigs. It's this one. It's 25,000 live blog comments. It's pure blog comment spam. I mean, this is pure spam. That's why I say do never point this stuff at a branded asset, guys. Never. Don't do that. But if you're building standalone assets to rank that are not branded, that are not connected to a local brand, a local entity, then you can spam away. And that's why, or if it's connected to a local entity, but all the links are no follow from that asset that's linking to the branded asset, then that's fine. You can, or brand your local entity, then that's fine. You can do it. So for example, with a patch.com classified announcement post, all those links are no follow from those to whatever you're linking to. So it's fine to do that and link to your money site and then spam the hell out of the patch.com post. Well, Weebly is another one that you could do this with. Weebly's do follow links though, so do not link directly to your money site from Weebly if you're going to do that. What I'm saying is, and so again, what I talked about earlier with the meta refresh, I don't recommend doing that with money sites, because now when you set the meta refresh, now your money site is going to inherit all that link spam. So don't do that. If you want to rank a Weebly and then do the meta refresh trick, then only hit the Weebly with topically relevant links from high quality sources. It'll still rank
from semantic links.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean that's an option. But it'll rank, but then when you replace it or put the meta refresh in that will link to your money site, you're not hitting your money site with a bunch of toxic links. It's going to be topically relevant. It's going to benefit your site anyway. That's what I'm saying. So it depends on the strategy. But if you want to just spam a Weebly to the top of search or a patch.com classified announcement post, this is the gig that I've been using for a year and a half, 2 years, and it works fabulously. What you want to do is the add-on for this for 60. So you get 60,000 blog comments in total. And then like, if you're impatient, spend the extra $5 and get it done in a day. And you end up with, it's crazy, but you end up with, in some cases, I've seen it with 120,000 backlinks. Like they're all blog comment spam. It's total junk, but they rank. It's crazy.
So last stuff, I think I've got the question here, but it looks like he posted it on the Hump Day Hangout page. So thanks for that, Taylor. But he was saying, kind of going back to the URL structure. If you want to flip back, Bradley, to the Hump Day Hangout page, but he's saying, not sure if you beat the source to death, but could you give your thoughts on URL structure for a multi-service, multi-location business?
Yeah, I would still, for URLs, generally, I'm going to go with, I know you guys aren't seeing my screen. I was going to pull up something just to share with you guys. Yeah, I'll just show this one. Anyway, with the URL structure I like shorter URLs now. I just like URLs to be very short and succinct. So years ago, I used to always want to use what's called a physical silo structure, which would show the silo structure in the URL. Like, so it would show the hierarchy, so categories, and posts. A few years ago, I got away from doing that. What's called a virtual silo. A virtual silo, it's still, the site structure is still built the same way, but you're only using the permalink or the post name permalink structure in WordPress, which means it's domain.com / and then whatever page or post you're on, it's that slug that is displayed in the address bar. That's it. So it's root domain / and then whatever page or post you're on, it's showing the slug of that particular page or post, and that's it. So there's no category hierarchy in the URL structure. It's still there on the back end, the taxonomy, right? But it's not there in the URL, the physical URL. That's the difference between a physical and a virtual silo. They're all built the same way. It's all done with internal links. It's done with the way that you stack categories and posts, or parent pages and child pages, etc. But it's the URL. And so I always prefer to do a URL structure that's simplified. It's succinct. It's short. Right. So domain.com / and then, keyword, and that's generally it. So I don't know if that was the question he was asking or not.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a branded asset? A branded asset is a newbie question. So whatever your company name brand is, so like the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, branded assets would be like a blogger account that's branded, right? It's got the logo. It's the subdomain is likely going to be the same as the company name. So like on Blogger, you have subdomain.blogspot.com. On Tumblr, it's subdomain.tumblr.com. Does that make sense? So you would put the brand name. The branded asset is just another, all that is meaning that it's the same company and you have a presence on all these different platforms and you put the same branding, the same logo, the same contact information, et cetera. Those are all of those become entity assets. They're supporting assets to support the local entity. And that we're in the semantic web, guys. It's 100% about that. There's still traditional SEO techniques and all that are still important, but for local, the first and foremost, you should establish the entity, and you want to continually expand the entity footprint. You want to help Google develop the knowledge graph for the local entity. Does that make sense? So really quickly, just to show you guys, just an example. Sometimes I don't like to show this stuff, but I don't care so much about this right now, but take a look at this, like this keyword right here, REST and tree service. Look at this, guys. This is the patch.com classified announcement post that I ranked using that up to top gig. I did a post about this in our mastermind. I took about 15 minutes to develop this content, which like 15 minutes, because all I did was pulled content from the money page and it just ran it through a rephrasing app like Quillbot. Okay. So all this content was pulled from an existing web page. And all I did was publish a classified announcement post. All these links are no follow. If I put this in my Chrome browser, and we'll wrap up, guys, as soon as I demonstrate this, I promise. But if you take a look, I got my no follow highlighter on. All of these are no follow links. Okay. This content, again, I pulled this content from an existing page on the site, ran it through a rephrasing tool like Quillbot or Page Rewriter, whatever, run it through a rephrasing tool, publish this post, optimized in a very specific way. Okay. And then I bought a gig from Fiverr, the same gig that we're looking at right here with the 60,000 blog comments in total. In fact, I think I bought the extra fast 1-day delivery. And then I posted in the mastermind the day that I published this. And I said, and here's what I bought. We're going to see how long it takes to rank. And 3 weeks later, the son of a bitch ranked. And it got all the way up to, I think, position 2. Now it's in position 4. And guys, that was on September 25th. I think I started that project on September 1st or whatever. It was about 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
3 weeks later, the son of a bitch ranked. Or I think it was like the second week in October or whatever. It was when it was finally ranked. And here it is today, still ranking from that up to top gig. So I spent $20 on the gig and about 20 minutes of my time. And that son of a bitch is still ranked right there. And in fact, if we just very quickly, I got one more thing I want to do and then I'm done, I promise. Sorry, good. Copy that, pause the screen for 1 minute. I'm gonna open up Majestic and just show you guys what this looks like in Majestic. The backlink profile, I mean. Okay. Oops. Take a look at this. This is funny. So here you go. Here's the backlink profile to this. There's 36,000 backlinks from 216 referring domains. They're 100% blog comment spam, nothing that's topically relevant at all. You can see the link diagram there. And I use straight up keyword anchors. I think I submitted like maybe 15 keywords and about 3 or 4 variants of the brand name. And that was it. And it was straight up keyword anchor text. That's it. I told the guy, no generics, no miscellaneous. You can see every one of the anchor texts are straight up keywords. And look at that, guys. It's pure spam. And take a look at the link, the link velocity. You can see right there when the links were built. It was like all at once. And then it found a few more later and then all at once again and found a few but again, it was all done at one time and that was it. And like we're talking, it's been over a year and still ranked, right? It's been over a year. It's still ranked right there.
Nice.
That's how you do that. All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out for longer.